Yo, what's going on guys? Arekkz here and welcome back to another Division video. And in today's video I thought we'd take a look at what I believe to be the best sniper or marksman rifle in the game. Now, I did one of these videos a little while back for the best SMG, although admittedly I kind of do need to revisit that because that was done first couple of weeks the game came out and there are of course some new SMGs on the block, so I will probably revisit that at some point. But for the time being, let's turn our attention to marksman rifles. And of course, the gun I'm talking about is the First Wave M1A. So if you guys do enjoy this video, then a like would be super appreciated. And comment down below and let me know what you think. Now to begin with, when speaking about marksman rifles, they typically fall into one of two categories. You either have the bolt action rifles, which are say the M44 or the SRS, and these are lower magazine, slower fire rate, slower reload speed, but they hit much harder. The high-end M44, for example, when spec the right way, can hit like a truck. But on the opposite side of the spectrum, you have the bigger magazine, faster fire rate, lower damage marksman rifles like the Scar H, or to a certain extent the M1A. However, the First Wave M1A is kind of like the exception to the rule. It is basically like having your cake and eating it, because it has a relatively good sized magazine, a fast fire rate, but it also hits like a truck. And for that reason, among a couple of other things which we'll speak about in a second, it is probably the best marksman rifle in the game right now. And if you want to get one, it comes from a couple of sources. Firstly, it can drop on the Russian Consulate Challenge Mode mission if you defeat Hornet, who is of course the main boss. But given that that happened pre-April 1.1 update, I believe that will still be dropping at around 183 gear score. So the better option is of course you can buy it as a blueprint from the DZ03 safe room. Now do bear in mind that the blueprints do rotate right now, so it was available during the first week of the April update. You do need to be DZ rank 75 to buy it, and it will set you back a few 100,000 Dark Zone credits. The blueprints have since rotated, but they rotate every single Saturday UK time, so while it's not available at this current moment in time, the idea of them rotating on a more frequent basis is that they will of course come and go. So do keep your eye every Saturday on the DZ03 safe room, and of course I'll have a video for you guys letting you know if anything comes back. But either way, it can be crafted and it can also be dropped. But if we actually take a look at mine for a second, I've actually got a couple in my inventory, but if we go and first if we strip it of its mod, so we can just take a look at the base model, if we then dive back in here, you can see that this one that I'm using at the moment, I admittedly don't have a great roll in it, and I'll speak about skills in a minute, but this one that I'm running with at the moment has around 41k base damage, it can fire 300 rounds per minute, and of course it has a magazine size of 10, of course without mods. But if I do jump back in and mod it in the way that I had it before, you can of course see that 10 magazine size does jump up to 19, which is quite a good amount considering this is a pretty hard-hitting marksman rifle. And one of the great things about this weapon as well is just how easy it is to maintain the recoil. If I then jump back and swap to, in fact, my unmodded First Wave M1A, this one also doesn't have any stability talents on it either. If I go back to this one and for a second just shoot some targets in the firing range, you can see that without any mods or any talents, this is still relatively easy to maintain. That being said, if you then swap over to, say, something that does have mods on it, it really is easy to stack some shots, pile in some nice damage with relatively low recoil. Now the one that I do have here does have a stability talent. That being said, that's not necessarily what I would have ideally liked on this weapon. In fact, this is nowhere near a good roll. This just happens to be the one that I'm using at the moment. I've gone through probably about 7 or 8 of these so far. In an ideal world, I would grab Balanced as the most important talent for this weapon because Balanced is so unbelievably good right now. If you can get this on a First Wave M1A, your recoil is basically non-existent. On top of that, if you wanted to go down the PvE route, you could grab something like Destructive for some more enemy armor damage. But given the choice, I would probably lean more towards Brutal and Deadly for some headshot damage and some critical hit damage as well. That being said, one of the nice things about the First Wave M1A, and it's something I also said about the Vector when I did one of these best of videos, is that even without some suitable or even without the best talents in the game, this is still a really good weapon to have. This is great for both PvE and PvP, especially with the new gear sets as well. If you pair this with the Sentry's Call set and you're in a PvE environment and you can stack some headshots and proc that Sentry's Call talent, then this is a recipe for damage. In PvP, however, it has its uses in both fronts, because if you use this with something like explosive bullets or incendiary bullets, then this is a great way to stop people from running away or getting targets that are a long distance away. Or similarly, if you are in a panic situation and say, for example, I typically have an SMG and this weapon here, which is quite a contrast given the SMG is typically used for very close range, whereas this is for much further away. And the reason I use this as well is because if I do happen to be using my sniper rifle and someone does rush me, then you can use it more like a battle rifle and just unload bullets pretty fast near your enemy. And it does still burn through people's health pretty quickly. And that, my friends, is pretty much it. This was just a super quick video. This isn't one of those in-depth weapon reviews. That is something I will do at a later date. Ideally, once I get a better roll on my First Wave M1A, I'll then follow up and do a more in-depth weapon review. But for the time being, that was a quick look at what I believe to be the best marksman rifle in the game right now. So if you do see the blueprint for this on sale in the DZ03 safe room at some point in the future, definitely pick this one up because this is by far one of the best weapons in the game right now. Either way, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, then again, a like would be super appreciated. Comment down below, let me know what you think. And thanks for watching. Take it easy. Catch you next time. Peace out.